Imagine it's 2 a.m., you're 45 years old, sitting at your kitchen table, and you just did the math. You've worked for 20 years. You've followed the rules. You've contributed to the 401k, but as you look at your bank account and the rising cost of, well, everything, a cold, sinking realization hits you. You aren't going to retire at 65. In fact, at this rate, you might never retire at all. You're not alone. Across the United States, an entire generation is quietly making a radical decision. They aren't protesting in the streets, and they aren't making headlines with grand exits. They're simply giving up, but it's not giving up in the way you think. It's a calculated, silent surrender to a system that no longer makes sense. Today, we're looking at why people in their 40s are abandoning the American dream of retirement, and what the hidden system is that made it almost impossible to achieve. Watch this full video to understand why the math has changed, what it means for your future. For decades, the script for a successful life in America was simple. Work hard, put 10% of your paycheck into a retirement fund, and at age 65, you get the gold watch and the house by the beach. But for those currently in their 40s, what economists are calling the bridge generation, that script has been shredded. According to recent surveys, nearly half of Americans in their 40s believe it will take a miracle for them to retire. Think about that word, miracle. Retirement used to be a mathematical certainty if you worked a steady job. Now, it's treated like a lottery win. We are witnessing the great retirement reset. This isn't happening because people are lazy or because they're buying too many lives. It's happening because we are living through a mathematical impossibility. While the stock market might be hitting record highs, the cost of survival is outpacing wages at a rate we've never seen in modern history. In the 1980s, the average house costs about 3 times the median salary. Today, it's closer to 6 or 7 times. Add in the explosion of healthcare costs and the crushing weight of student debt, which many 40-year-olds are still paying off, and you start to see the problem. For this generation, the golden years have been replaced by the working years forever. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at the life of someone like Mark. Mark is 44. He earns $85,000 a year, a good salary by most standards. He has 2 kids heading toward college and 2 aging parents. Health is starting to fail. Mark is part of the sandwich generation. He is being squeezed from both ends. He wants to save for his retirement, but his daughter needs tuition to avoid the same debt trap he fell into, and his father needs an assisted living facility that costs low 10 a month. Mark's story isn't an outlier. It's the new American standard. But there's a historical reason Mark is in this position. In the past, companies offered something called pensions. It was a guaranteed paycheck for life. You didn't have to be a stock market expert to retire. You just had to show up and do your job for 30 years. But in the late 70s and early 80s, corporate, America made a massive shift. They realized pensions were expensive, so they traded them for 401ks. Suddenly, the entire burden of funding retirement shifted from the billionaire corporation to the individual worker. The problem? A 401k relies on a stable, upward trending economy and, most importantly, the ability to leave your money untouched for 30 years. But people in their 40s today have lived through the dot-com bust, the 2008 financial crisis, and the COVID-19 lockdown. Every time they get close to building a nest egg, the world catches fire, and they have to dip into those savings just to keep the lights on. They aren't building wealth. They are rebuilding from zero over and over again. Now, here is the part most people don't want to talk about. There is an uncomfortable hidden truth behind this crisis. The modern economy doesn't want you to retire. Think about it from the perspective of the system. Our entire economic structure is built on 2 things: consumption and labor. If a massive chunk of the most experienced, most productive workforce, people in their 40s and 50s, stopped working and stopped spending, the system would face an existential crisis. We are being subtly nudged into a state of permanent employment by keeping housing prices high and making healthcare costs astronomically expensive and tied to your job. The system ensures that you stay on the treadmill. Then there is the inflation tax. When the government prints money to handle crises, the value of your savings drops. If you managed to save $100,000 by 2019, that money has lost nearly 20% of its purchasing power today. You're running faster just to stay in the same place. People in their 40s are the first generation to truly realize that the finish line isn't just far away, it's being moved further back every single year by the forces they cannot control. Let's look at the math of despair. Financial. Experts generally say you need about times your annual income saved to retire comfortably. If you make $75,000, that means you need nearly $1 million. But here's the reality on the ground. The median retirement savings for people in their 40s in the US is only about. To close that gap in the 20 years they have left, a 45-year-old would need to save thousands of dollars every single month. But where is that money supposed to come from? Rent and mortgages are at all-time highs. Grocery prices have jumped 25% in the last 3 years alone. The cost of childcare is now higher than the cost of a mortgage in many states. It's a liquidity trap. You have just enough money to survive today, but never enough to secure tomorrow. And this leads to a psychological shift. When a goal feels difficult, people work harder. But when a goal feels impossible, human beings stop trying altogether. This is the quiet giving up. It's a survival mechanism. If you know you'll never reach the oasis, you stop running through the desert and start looking for whatever shade you can find, right? Where you are. But what does this giving up actually look like in real life? It looks like doom spending. Have you noticed how many people in their 40s are buying expensive concert tickets, dining out at high-end restaurants, or taking vacations they can't quite afford? Financial critics call it irresponsible. But if you look deeper, it's an act of emotional defiance. If you've accepted that, you'll be working until you're 75 or until you drop dead. Why would you sacrifice your health and your remaining good years today for a retirement that will never happen? There's a deep sense of grief here. It's the grief of a promise broken. This generation was told that if they went to college, took on the debt, and worked 40 hours a week, they'd be set. Instead, they are the most stressed, most indebted, and most overworked demographic in the country. They are the burnout generation, watching the dream of a quiet, peaceful old age fade into the rearview mirror. They aren't choosing to be bad with money. They are choosing to have a life now because they've lost faith in the future. This isn't just a personal tragedy for Mark or people in their 40s. It's a global economic time bomb. If an entire generation gives up on retirement, what happens in 20 years? We will have a workforce dominated by who cannot afford to stop working. This creates a bottleneck in the economy. Younger generations won't be able to move up because the older generation can't move out. We will see a massive, unprecedented strain on social services and healthcare systems that were never designed to support a population with zero private savings. We are already seeing the cracks. Governments are talking about raising the Social Security age to 67, 69, or even 70. Are trying to manage a soft landing, 45-year-old with only a few $1,000 in their 401k. The landing is going to be anything but soft. The global power structure relies on a middle class that believes in the future. When that belief dies, the social contract begins to unravel. We move from a society of owners to a society of renters, renting our homes, our cars, and essentially our lives. So, where does this leave us? Is it all doom and gloom? Not necessarily. But it does mean the old rules are officially dead. People in their 40s aren't just giving up on retirement. They are redefining what a life well lived looks like. They are choosing to find joy and meaning now, rather than waiting for a someday that the math says will never come. They are looking for alternative ways to live, downsizing their expectations, exploring side hustles they actually enjoy, and moving toward multi-generational living to share costs. The quiet giving up might actually be a quiet revolution, a collective rejection of a broken financial promise in favor of a more immediate, albeit uncertain, reality. The finish line has moved, the game has changed, and the people in their 40s are the first to stop playing by the old rules. The question is, if the system won't let you retire, what will you do instead? If you found this breakdown helpful and it resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and give it a hype by sharing it. It helps us keep making deep dive content like this. Thanks for watching, and we really want to hear your opinion. Are you in your 40s? Do you feel like retirement is still possible? Or have you quietly moved on to a different plan? Leave a comment and let us know what you think of the video. Also, write about the video topic you want to see next. We read every single comment to decide our next project. Thanks for watching, and we'll